What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video we're building a tiny house. I didn't really actually use the tiny living tile count, but the house is very small. It definitely counts as a tiny home, and I kind of created some sort of loft on the inside as well, so it's like a tiny little loft if you will. It's really cute. I really like how this house ended up looking. And what I like about it is I didn't really use any reference pictures for this one. I just knew that I wanted to build something industrial. So that's what I went with. I knew that I wanted to build something tiny and something industrial. So naturally, I built a industrial tiny home. And I had a lot of fun with it. Obviously, I wanted it to be as small as possible, but I knew that I wanted to create some sort of lofted area. So that's why I immediately started working with the tallest wall height, because I knew I was gonna need it. And so I created this like elevated bedroom, if you will. You can see me playing around with it already right now. And yeah, I don't know, I had like a really fun time building this house, because lately, as you probably know if you watch my videos on a regular basis, you know that I have been building a lot of cottagey sort of builds, or houses that are kind of inspired by cottages, but at least like I've been building more like older looking homes, more traditional looking homes, more cutesy, overgrown, a lot of landscaping, that sort of thing. I've been doing that a lot lately, and obviously that has everything to do with cottage living because I'm obsessed with that world and that style and everything about that pack. So I wanted to do something different and something that was a nice change of pace for me. So yeah, I decided to build something industrial. And I had a lot of fun with it. Like I already explained, it's very small. I built it for one sim. I did place a double bed. So scooting works for everyone, I'm pretty sure. So you could actually have two Sims sleeping and living in this house, but I just kind of designed it or built it with one Sim in mind. And as you can see, we're building in the eco lifestyle world. And I was using the Modern Developments Neighborhood Action Plan. So I activated that, so you'll see that the surrounding houses and stuff, everything is very modern and renovated and cleaned up and just really nice. And in my mind, this house would also be kind of eco-friendly. Obviously, it is built out of a lot of more industrial materials, and industrial materials in The Sims mostly count as not eco-friendly. They will actually make your neighborhood a little bit less eco-friendly or less green, if you will. But I was just kind of thinking that it was all like reused materials, and in that way it's very eco-friendly, or at least that's what the builder of this house was trying to go for. So in my mind, it's eco-friendly, but if you want it to be eco-friendly in your game, then I think you might want to add some more solar panels. Maybe you want to add some windmills, stuff like that. I did place a whole heap of solar panels on the roof, but you could always add more. And I also placed a dew collector, so you could add more of those if you wanted to as well. Or you could just swap out some of the materials that I used. I used a lot of concrete for this build, for example, on the floors and stuff like that. So you could always change that out for something wooden, or just not concrete, something that's more eco-friendly as far as the game's concerned. So you could easily just make these little changes and then you should be fine. But in my mind, all the industrial materials are reused, refurbished, and renovated. So yeah, kind of eco-friendly and sustainable in that sense. That's what I was trying to go for, at least. And yeah, it's very modern. As you can see, I never really use the tallest wall height because I feel like it's very difficult to work with for me. I really struggle with the tallest wall height, making things look cozy and homey. But because this is supposed to be industrial, I really wanted it to have that very high ceilings kind of look and feel about it. And obviously I needed to, because I created this lofted area like I already explained. But yeah, I kind of wanted to feel like a, I don't know, just very industrial. I don't really know how else to explain it. Kind of like a renovated warehouse kind of situation. At least That's what I tried as far as the vibe goes. Obviously, this house is way too small to be a renovated warehouse, so it's not. But I still really tried to recreate that that look and feel, if you will. And I think it turned out really nice. I really like the outcome of this house. I have no clue how expensive it turned out to be. So that's a little surprise. We'll see that once we hop into the game, I guess at the end of this video. So I honestly don't know. But yeah, it's a very small house, and as you can see, I didn't really place any landscaping just yet because I made the whole lot concrete, and I did that on purpose because usually with these types of houses, I like to at least play around with some greenery. But for this one, I left pretty much all of the lot concrete, except in the backyard. I deleted a little part of the flooring that I used, and I created a little grass patch. So there is at least a little bit of greenery. And as you can see, I also placed some trees and stuff around, like some potted things. I also created some like makeshift planter boxes, if you will, in the front of the house, but I didn't do that until way later, I think. So you'll see that later, but I did try to place around some like potted plants and stuff like that to kind of make it a little bit green. But not too much, because that's what I usually like to do, and I kind of wanted to challenge myself in that sense. So yeah, but as you can see, we are moving on to the interior of the house now, and I play tested everything literally 5 minutes ago, so everything is functional. I did have to I had to place the fridge. I had to move the fridge over a little bit because it was blocking the one countertop in the kitchen that was free of clutter. So I just moved over the fridge a tiny bit, and then that was fine. And as you can see, behind the ladder, I actually placed a half wall to cover up the platform. But I kind of forgot that that doesn't work. You can't place ladders this way. You have to, obviously you can place them by platforms, but you can't use a half wall behind the ladders. That blocks them from being functional. So I just had to delete that little half wall that I placed, and but that's literally everything. That's the only thing that was not functional when I play tested it. So I fixed it, and everything is fine now. So yeah, that's really good. And as you can see, the house has one very small 3-tile bathroom. I placed a shower, the shower from Snowy Escape, and then a toilet. And then there's no sink in there, but there is a sink in the kitchen. So you can use that one to just wash your hands. I really didn't want to go any bigger than a 3-tile bathroom because I wanted it to take up as little space as possible, basically. So that's what I went with, and it's all functional, it all works. I always really like these 3-tile little bathrooms whenever I'm building tiny homes. I usually go for this little layout right here. And then I use the glass door because I thought it was so modern and nice and sleek looking. So yeah, it's not the most functional thing to have a glass see-through door in your bathroom, but I just placed a couple of blinds so you can at least, your Sims can just have the blinds go down whenever they need to use the toilet. Obviously, it doesn't work that way in The Sims. Your Sims don't actually do that. But your Sims, at the same time, also really don't care about glass doors leading into bathrooms. It really doesn't matter to them. So it's all fine. It works. It all works out, but I just really liked the whole aesthetic of that black glass door, if you will. So yeah, I just thought it was really pretty. And as you can see, the ceilings are very, very high for the rest of this house, or like for the majority of this house. And it was definitely really nice. It gave me the chance to use these hanging lights from the Moschino stuff pack. I always really like that lamp. I never really get to use it because it's so big. And so tall, but for this house, it was actually perfect. So I had a lot of fun placing that. It looks so industrial. And I also used the Moschino stuff windows around, as you can see. I also used a couple of windows from, Eco Living. Wow, I really did not know the name of that pack for a second. But I used these very, very tall, like triangular windows from Eco Living. And that was so fun because I don't think I've ever used them before. They're also for the tallest wall height. I think there are shorter ones as well. But obviously I went with the ones with the tallest wall height ones because my walls are that tall for this build. And they're so cool. I don't think I've ever used them before, and they just look really cool and different and very modern, and it definitely gave the house a little bit of an extra touch or just a little bit more personality. And I don't know, I just thought it was really, really fun. And then as you can see, I also placed a TV on the wall. I used the TV from Tiny Living, which comes in handy for this house because it also functions as a bookshelf and as a radio. I don't really ever place stereos in my builds. Sometimes I do, but I don't always think about it. But this one actually functions as all three, so that was very convenient because I did not have the space to place a bookshelf anywhere else. I was kind of panicking when I was furnishing the bedroom, because all of a sudden I remembered that I needed to place a bookshelf somewhere, because I always like to include bookshelves in my builds because they're really good for skill building items. They're good to have your Sims work on their fun need. But yeah, I was kind of panicking, and then I remembered that this TV set actually also functions as a bookshelf, and I play tested it. I did place that little poof chair underneath it that your Sims can just, whenever they have friends over, they can just use that little poof chair as an extra chair, if you will. And I placed that underneath it. I was kind of afraid that it might block off the bookshelf from being functional, but it actually didn't. So yeah, that all works too. And as you can see, you can really see the kitchen come together. I used that high chair, or that high table, I mean, that's also from Tiny Living, and everything is functional. It looks very, very cramped, but your Sims can actually use the kitchen, except for the fact that I had to move over the fridge the tiniest little bit, but still everything is functional, and they can use both of the chairs by the table as well. They can use the sink and the stove, and then yeah, that's that really for the kitchen. And then after that, we are moving on to the lofted bedroom area situation, which I really like. I really like this part of the house. It's very small, as you can see, but I just placed a bed, and as you can see, I went for a lot of black details. I did that on purpose because I just thought it was cool and more like industrial looking, and just, yeah, I don't know. I really like the whole like black details vibe for this house. And for a Sim that's living here, I was kind of thinking that they could be some sort of designer. Honestly, I don't really know what kind of designer, so I didn't really have too much of a storyline. But I did give them a desk up here as well, so that they could sit here and have a workspace. But I was thinking that they could be some sort of designer. Like maybe they are an architect. Maybe they even designed or like helped design specific parts of this house, like of this structure. Maybe they are like an architect or something, or maybe they like design sustainable materials for house builds or what have you. Or I was thinking maybe they could be even like a website designer, or like an app designer, or like an app developer, that sort of thing. Like, do you understand what I was trying to go for? Like that's the sort of, I mean, the things that I just mentioned are very, very different, different professions. I realize that, but that's just the kind of thing that I was thinking about. Like they're definitely some sort of designer. So that's why I gave them this, this desk from Dream Home Decorator as well, because I thought it really fit the vibe, and I just really like the color scheme as well. And yeah, I just placed a laptop and also a camera, because maybe the Sim is also into photography. That's kind of what I was thinking for this person, or for this Sim's personality rather. And then I also kind of created that makeshift dresser behind the bed, which your Sim can't actually reach because obviously it's blocked by the bed. So there is no functional dresser. Oh wait, there is a functional dresser in the entryway. I think that one, that's also a makeshift Dream Home Decorator wardrobe situation, but I think that one actually functions as a wardrobe. I don't know, I might have to playtest that still. But if it's not functional, your Sims really don't need dressers or wardrobes. They can also change through the mirror, or you can just shift click them and have them change clothes in CAS or what have you. There are definitely more ways to change their outfits than just using wardrobes and dressers. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But then again, I think the one in the entryway is actually functional. But we'll test that once we hop into the game. But you can see that right now I'm working on the backyard, and I placed that little glass awning. I really like that glass awning, and I just placed a couple of, or like a little couch, a little love seat, and a little chair with a coffee table. So your sim has a nice space where they can sit and hang out outside. And then you can see that there is this little grass patch to at least have a little bit of greenery on this lot. I think it looks really fun and very cute. So I just placed a couple of plants there, but really not too much. I really tried to keep it to a minimum. I was also thinking that this sim that's living here is not that into gardening either. So they're fine with not having too many plants in their house and around their house. I mean, there are some plants inside definitely, and also some plants right here on the back patio, but yeah, really not too much gardening for them. And I feel like they did that on purpose because they don't really like that. They don't really like gardening, taking care of plants. They will, but they just don't really enjoy it. But here you can see for the front of the house, I placed a little bike in front and then some more potted plants. And then I kind of created this little makeshift planter boxes with a couple of plants in it as well. And then I also placed a little car from Debug. I was thinking of like an electrical car or of some sorts, but that's actually it. So let's hop on into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the house in the game. You can see that there is not a lot of greenery going on, which is definitely different from the things I usually do, but that's why I like this house so much. I think it looks very cool and very sophisticated and definitely very industrial. As you can see over here, we have the backyard. I was just playtesting to see if my sim could actually walk under this awning, and she can, so it's all functional. I did place some planter boxes despite the fact that I was just explaining that I didn't think that the sim that's living here would like gardening, but I mean, maybe your sim does like gardening if you intend on using this house in your game, so I just wanted the skill building item to be there basically. But yeah, we have this staircase leading up to this sliding door, so there are 2 entryways into this house. And then over here we have the front door, as you can see. Now, this house is very small, so there is not a whole lot to show you. We do have this little lofted entryway, or like, it's not really lofted, but it's just a little bit higher up than the rest of the house. Then we have this wardrobe, which is actually functional. My sim can use this to change outfits, so that really works. And then we have this tiny little 3-tile bathroom over here, which definitely speaks for itself. And then down here, we have the living room. It's very small, very cramped, but at the same time, it also feels kind of spacious for how small this house is. I'm so happy that I could fit this little TV/bookcase situation on the wall over here. It definitely saves so much space. So yeah, we have the couch here and a little side table with some plants. I really like this light as well. It's so cool. I always love it when I get to use this one. And then over here we have the kitchen. I love how this little towel is just tucked away over here. That just feels so realistic to me. I don't know why, but I just like that it's there. And then this house even has a dining table that's all functional. And then this ladder obviously goes up to the bedroom. As you can see, the bed is only accessible from one side, so I was thinking one sim would live here, but scooting works for everyone now. So you can actually have 2 sims sleeping in the bed, so that's really, really nice. And then the sim has their little workspace over here by this large window. And then over here we have the dresser situation. I did have to fix it real quick because for some reason the game actually deleted half of these modular items. I don't know what's up with that, but it's fixed now, so that's all good. But that's actually it for this house. So this house is up on the gallery and it comes in at 43,418 simoleons. So it's not a starter home, but it's also not too expensive. You could easily save up for it, I feel like. And I placed it in Evergreen Harbor. So if you want to place it just like this in your game, then that's where it goes. It's on a 20x15 in Evergreen Harbor. But that's actually it for this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this build. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery if you want to. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!